Okay, I wanted to see how unstable my swivel seat was, and I think you can swivel just fine. The whole idea behind this was to make sure that when I heard boats coming up behind me, I wanted to be able to turn around and look like that, and now I can. Before, with the dry suit on, it was nearly impossible to see what was happening behind me. So that part's helpful. I also wanted to be able to move my seat back and forth. And that looks like it's helpful too. What I was finding was that after 4 or 5 hours of pedaling, I would get a sore butt. And being able to move the seat back and forth would change the angle that my buttocks was sitting on the seat as I pedaled. Thought that might help in a comfort level. On top of that, I added this 1-inch foam pad on there. So that I think is going to get real hot. And when it rains, it's going to pool under my butt. We'll see. I might have to poke some holes in the seat part to get it to drain out. But generally speaking, I can already tell it's a hell of a lot more comfortable. So we're going to see now if the swivel affects my ability to pedal, and we'll try to catch some fish. You know, maybe I'll catch a fish on video, and then you'll be able to see that. Okay, we're on Lake Sammamish. Anybody who hasn't recognized it yet, we're on Lake Sammamish in lovely Issaquah, Washington. And I have my lovely Mariner's hat on. It looks ridiculous, I know, but it's spring training right now, or what's left of it. It's after the lockout. But in honor of the boys getting back to playing ball, I'm wearing my Mariner's hat. Okay, let's go catch some fish. Maybe. We'll see. Who knows? Okay, so now we're going to start pedaling backwards away from the boat ramp. And I'm going to start messing around with the seat, see if it rotates and how tippy I feel when I'm rotating and that sort of, just getting the feel for it. It's really cold out. I don't want to end up in the lake, even though I have a dry suit on and that really super cool Mariner's hat. I don't want to be in the water. So I'm testing a few things out here. And it's right about in here where I realize I can't seem to steer. What's going on? I haven't put the rudder down. Oh, so I'm going to adjust the seat, and oh no, Pat, you have a swivel seat. Just rotate and flip the rudder down. Yep, okay. And then at this point, I'm waiting for it to coast. I'm going to turn around here and start pedaling. I'm going to grab a hold of a few things, try to make it not rotate as I'm pedaling. And then I realize, you don't need to hold on to anything. You can pedal just fine, and it works great. So from there, I just start pedaling out to where I typically fish, and it's actually a win-win. It works really well. It's not a difficult thing to do to pedal with a swivel seat at all. I don't think I need the locking version. I think I might keep it like this. Now, and I'll wrap up a few more comments at the end here. But right now, let's go take a look at how I actually put this together, how I modified this seat to make it work with both the slider and the swivel, and how I bolted it to the kayak, because all that stuff you might be interested in if you want to do something like this. So let's take a look at the components here. I bought these guys from MakerPipe. I'll link all this stuff in the description down below. But I bought these from MakerPipe. They're the 3/4 inch. I had this aluminum laying in my scrap bin. I don't even know where it came from. But anyway, I had those pieces. They're roughly the same size as this, about 7/8 of an inch outside dimensions, which is a little bit undersized for what these guys were looking for. I mean, oversized for what these guys are looking for, but they seem to work pretty well. I had to put some aluminum shimming in there to make them fit really tight on this material. So that was one modification I had to make here. This guy right here is the slider that I got off of Amazon. Let's tip this around, look at the other side here. So you can see here it's got a pop down here, and that allows me to slide the seat back and forth. And that has a standard boat seat mounting plate on the bottom of it. And then in here is the swivel. This costs like 10 bucks. This is like 90. This is like 10, 15 bucks for the swivel. And then the hardest part of the whole thing was sort of customizing this piece of plywood to fit in the grooves and so forth of the Crank 10. The Crank 10, let's actually go take a look at the Crank 10. So the Crank 10 has this uneven platform here. This is higher than here. It's not level. It does all sorts of goofy things, but I made that piece of plywood so that the portion in the center sits down in this to keep it from racking this way. And then on the back, there's another piece of wood that fits down into the groove here. And that makes it somewhat level across here. So I didn't go into all the detail on how I built that part because it's going to be different for every single kayak. And I'll put it on here so you guys can see what it looks like for the Crank 10. Okay, here it is in place. You can see this is the plywood base. You can see there's a little piece underneath here that slips into this groove, and then the other piece is in the center there. It keeps it from sliding back and forth, and then it's bolted in place right there, and those go into inserts that are in the Crank 10 itself. Those are put in there initially to hold the seat in place, and so I just co-opted those to make the seat work with the swivel and the slider. So you can see here the pipes and the slider. You can see a little bit better there. And then I also showed you the foam here. If you are looking for some nice padding, this works great. It is closed cell foam, so it's not going to absorb water. It's a yoga mat, 1 inch thick. It was like $33 on Amazon. Again, I'll link that. One of the things that I do, which I think is pretty cool, and I might as well just show you before somebody asks, is I've attached rare earth magnets to my seat. So you can see this one I just siliconed on there, and that's been on there for a couple of years. Seems to work great. Holds my scissors in place, so I always know where they are. Very handy. Then I tried another method, which is to take a piece of stainless steel, and then I glued and taped 2 magnets to that, and then I screwed that in place. So I thought, well, if I don't want it, I can remove it again. But again, works great, holds my pliers in place. I always know where my pliers are. And I've done the same thing over here for toenail clippers, because you never know when hygiene might be important. Just kidding, I use that for cutting line as well. But again, I always have something to cut my line with. Real handy, easy to find. Well, I have to apologize for the cropping. Yeah, once again, I've chopped the top of my head off. I don't know, my camera got bumped somewhere along the way. So you can see the swivel seat's quite helpful in putting rods away and looking behind you and getting stuff out of the back of the kayak. It's a really nice feature. Well, all the seat modifications were a big success. Fishing, not so much. I got skunked. Didn't catch anything. But you can see that the swivel seat is really quite helpful when you're looking at stuff behind you. And if you need to grab something out of your box, the swivel seat's fantastic. Grab another rod. Nice. You'll see some of the footage that you can pedal just fine. It doesn't cause a problem at all. In fact, I've hit some of my highest speeds with the pedal seat because it's elevated a little bit more than or with the swivel seat. It's elevated a little bit more than the seat was before. I am going to lower it a little bit because I have noticed that it's when it's elevated like that, it's slightly tippy, but it had nothing to do with the swivel. The swivel's actually amazingly easy to use. I think I'm going to keep it. There's absolutely no problem with having a swivel seat on a pedal drive. I thought for sure it was going to be a nightmare, but it really was quite nice. All in all, I'm pretty satisfied with that mod. So I'll be keeping that. Yeah, it's quite nice. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming back to the channel. Sorry you didn't get to see my backyard, but maybe on the next go around. Thank you.